Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon, and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today, we are going to be talking about my most hated video on the channel, and that would be my Buell video. The one titled, "Should You Buy a Buell?" Thumbnail, appropriately labeled, "Don't Buy a Buell," with me looking like this. Yeah, you're looking at Buells, but you shouldn't be looking at them. Or should you? I also included the word obsolete because it is accurate. It is very true. Buells are no longer made by Harley. That was the thing that I think a lot of you failed to notice. I think you guys were skipping through the video a little bit too much. And unfortunately, you guys kind of missed the point of the video. Some of you, not all of you, some of you. And so, despite this video being my most hated video on the channel, it was also very polarizing in the fact that it was also the most popular video. In other words, the most dislikes and also the most likes as well. So a bit of both. 25,000 views, absolutely crazy. I honestly was just making the video based on my experiences at the Harley dealership with customers coming in and saying, "Hey, can I get these parts for this bike?" And I have to sell them no. And obviously other times where I said, actually, yeah, the warehouse still has this. Harley still offers these components. Absolutely. Order them in, no problem whatsoever. Now, one of the things that I would say in the past 5 years, approximately, I have been at the dealership for over 6 years now. But about 5 years ago, the front rotors for, say, an XB9, those ended up being discontinued through Harley. Now, this is the thing that, based on the percentage of the video that you guys have been watching for that video, my most hated video, the thing that you guys were missing was that this is strictly from a dealership perspective. And so something like the rotor, the front rotor, it was labeled as pending obsolete. So I recommended a couple of guys get those rotors, and actually had that same customer come in recently for, I think it was brake pads, and he also got a master cylinder rebuild kit. So there are a few components that are still readily available in the warehouse. However, not very many. I think there was only about half a dozen of those kits left in the warehouse, which does make you wonder, right? As someone who either owns a Buell or is looking to buy a Buell, is it worth the risk, right? That ultimately was the question, and obviously the answer was a little bit divided, right? I had a lot of you guys commenting, sharing your experiences of ownership, and a lot of you also included Buells outside of Harley. So EBR, so Eric Buell Racing, and I think maybe even a few of the newer ones as well. But there was a pretty good mix. And personally, I was really happy with the discussions. Some people were not so nice, unfortunately. However, the haters, thank you, because you guys are sending that video straight up to the top, over 25,000 views. I honestly didn't think that it would get that many views. I was not surprised that I was getting all the hate that I'm getting on that video. However, the discussions are great because even though you might have to order some parts from the Netherlands or other areas of the world, if you're living in, let's say, North America, for example, I'm in Canada, and a lot of you are from the US. So there's obviously different experiences, different perspectives on ownership of a Buell. And so I think the resounding, unanimous agreement, let's put it this way. The majority of you guys, let's just put it this way, the majority of you guys are probably from the US. And based on all the comments that you guys have been leaving, I think it's safe to say that you have to take a look at whether or not you guys are mechanically inclined, how much you're riding the bikes, and whether the price is appropriate for your budget, right? So you've got owners who are mechanically inclined. There's many of you leaving very long-winded comments, which I greatly appreciate. Those are really nice to read because you guys are not only proving that owning a Buell is fun, it's also pretty easy if you are mechanically inclined. So for people who are naturally mechanically inclined, or maybe they're motorcycle mechanics, these guys are going to be seeing your comments and think, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with the Buell then, I'll just buy one. And that's great. However, for those of you who definitely are on board with my perspective of a Harley dealership not being able to get all the components that you would probably need on a regular basis, or maybe even some of those crucial components, well, you guys are also confirming for those people who aren't mechanically inclined or maybe a little bit hesitant to use one as a daily bike, daily rider, you know, there's two sides to this debate, right? And obviously the video, I think it served its purpose really, really well. And this video is basically just reiterating that and thanking you guys for both the love and the hate on the video, because honestly, with 25,000 views, and I think the rating is like 71%, so it's relatively low, but in terms of, you know, the actual likes, the amount of them, and the dislikes, they are top in both categories compared to all my videos on the channel. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, about a week ago from filming this video, I actually almost, like this close, almost bought an XB12S. I think it was an XB12S. It had a modified swing arm on it. So basically, and you guys can confirm this in the comments, but because they're belt driven, in order to convert them to chain, you have to weld on a block onto the swing arm, so you have the adjustment blocks there. And so this bike was clearly ridden on the track. It was all stripped down, no lights on it, no turn signals, headlight, whatever. And it looked really, really cool, pretty rough. And the guy was down to about, I think it was 2,500 bucks Canadian. Remember that? About 2,500. And I was so close to getting, I was like, maybe he'll take $2,000, because I had to drive, I think it was about 3 hours at least to go get it. And because I worked during the week, I wasn't able to go up until Saturday. And so I was saying, okay, well, I got Saturday off. Cool. He lowered his price a little bit. I think he started about 3,500 or $3,000. And the lower the price went, the more excited I was. I thought maybe, just maybe, for you guys, I can actually make a introduction video of buying a Buell and owning one, and, you know, putting the lights back on because they were there. So all I had to do was convert it back to street use, and I had my first Buell ever. I think it was an 04, by the way. And sadly, unfortunately, you guys are going to be disappointed to hear that he sold it on Friday. Yeah, right after I finished work. So actually, I think it was just before I finished work, but regardless, he sold it. So I missed out. Cheapest Buell I have seen in ages, probably a good 5 or 6 years. However, there is another one out there, which is about 3,500. It's still pretty rough, and I'm watching it. I'm keeping my eye on it. But the journey towards me owning a Buell and putting it on this channel, and maybe a lot of you guys will be like, ha, you bought one, you liar. No, I'm not a liar, first and foremost, because the thing is, even though I will hate on Buells for their condition, really, let's be honest, the thumbnail says it all. The thumbnail says Buells suck. The only reason that Buells would ever suck, this is the only reason, is when people who aren't true Buell enthusiasts own them and trash them. And I think we can all agree on that. That is the only reason that a Buell would be shitty. All right. At the end of the day, if you guys are looking for a Buell, obviously, they're just crazy. Like the performance and the handling, everything is amazing. And I don't need to say that as someone who hasn't owned one. There are tons of you guys talking about your own ownership, which is great. That's what I wanted to get out of these videos. I wanted to have that community come together and leave all these comments and discuss the ownership of these bikes, because I know they're great. You guys don't have to tell me in the comments. I know that they're great. However, finding one in decent enough condition, because I'm not that mechanically inclined and I'm a little bit concerned about the cost of maintaining one, I'm one of those guys that's in that group that wants to get one that is affordable, maybe lightly used, pretty good condition, not beaten the snot out of. You know, some of the bikes that I've seen are super, super rough, and I would love to just get one that's a little bit rough around the edges, but not too bad. Maybe have a front rotor that's not gonna, you know, be needing to get replaced anytime soon, because I can't get them through my work. So there's a few things like that where I'm still a little bit hesitant, but I am keeping my eye out for a Buell, I swear. So maybe I'll end up owning one, maybe you will end up owning one, or maybe you'll also end up owning another one, or if you already have one or multiples of them, you will continue to roast me in the comments section about how great your Buell is. Go for it. I dare ya. So, all jokes aside, guys, Buells are great, and honestly, I am trying to find one, and until I'm able to get my hands on one, I'm probably going to keep making Buell videos, maybe even talk about the new ones that are out now, and basically, I want you guys to let me know if these videos interest you. Is there a talking point? Is there a big question that you guys have who don't own any Buells that you'd like to have answers to? Because here's the thing. I will make the video. I will ask the rage-inducing comments section. You know, all these answers, rage-inducing, yeah, I think that's what it is half the time. But if you guys have a question and you guys want me to ask the audience, all the other fellow subscribers, I will take the brunt of all their rage by asking the question and making a thumbnail to piss them off. Yes, I will do that for you guys. So hopefully you guys don't take this video too seriously and you actually enjoyed it. So if you did, make sure to smash that like button so I know that it's working. Comments down below. You guys, the haters, the lovers, the Buell enthusiasts, all of you, leave some comments down below. Let's keep this discussion going about Buells, the ownership, the stories. Keep it coming, guys. I'm not saying that this video should be the next most hated video on my channel. However, the most liked Buell video on my channel would be pretty sweet. Now, last but not least, of course, be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss out on future content on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.